Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jack Ford. The New York State Legislature will be out of session for the next week, giving lawmakers a chance to return to their home districts and hear from their constituents. The break allows legislators to take a breath before next month's budget negotiations and to meet with their respective caucuses. One of the most influential and active of those is the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Caucus, which will convene this weekend in Albany for their annual conference. The gathering is an important series of meetings that will help to shape the group's agenda for the coming year and impact policy from City Hall to the state capitol. Joining me now with a preview of the conference is a member of the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Caucus, Assemblymember Luis Sepulveda. And it's always nice to have you back here.
Thank you, Jack, for always inviting me. But let me correct you on something.
Yes.
We can spend a little bit more time with our families,
yes.
But we never get to take a
You're right. Exactly. Taking a breath is a relative concept for all of you. Exactly. Yes. Let's talk about the caucus. Who's participating, and what do you hope will come from it?
Well, the caucus was created long before I became a member of the Assembly, and we're elected by the membership, people that are of Black, Hispanic, Asian descent. The executive board, we as a caucus all vote, and we all put our names in nominations. I'm currently the second vice chair. Nick Perry is the current chair, Nick Perry. So the caucus, we meet throughout this legislative session, and sometimes after legislative session, and one of the things that we try to do is put together a list of priorities and budgetary needs for our particular communities. Most of our communities are high-need communities. So we put together policy, we put together budget, and other things that are important. And then we have this annual caucus. We get together in Albany, and we meet to discuss policy, budgets, things that impact communities of color, and these are leaders that go beyond the Assembly and the Senate. The caucus is made up of members of the Assembly and the New York State Senate, but at this particular event, people from all over the state, from all over the country practically, they come. We have not-for-profits, community-based organizations. We have clergy. It's a multitude and a wide-ranging of interests that come together, and we try to merge policies from that. We try to take on budgetary interest and fights as a result of that. We send messages to the governor when we don't believe that he is paying enough attention to some of the needs of the communities. We support the governor when we think we have to support him. We also talk about, many of us are from downstate, so we discuss policy, budget on issues that impact the city. So it's really a joining of different forces throughout the state of New York, throughout the country to some degree. We get together to iron out policies and be vigilant about some of the things and necessities in our communities. So that's what we expect. We expect many times, I, for example, have gotten actual legislation out of some of these committees. We push budgetary agendas, and it's very successful. And we come together this one time a year, and it's one of the more enjoyable events that we do every year in Albany.
You mentioned policies and issues. Let's talk about some of them if we can. Your district includes parts of the Bronx.
That's correct.
The Mayor de Blasio, had his State of the City address just recently. Listening to that, what were some of your reactions to some of the things that came from his address?
Well, I think he's continuing a line of policies that he had ever from the first day he was elected. There are some particular issues that, to us as a caucus, we're paying a close attention to. We're going to have more full implementation of Raise the Age now in New York State. That's where kids 16, 17 will no longer be treated like adults in the criminal justice system. Many of us believe that the current criminal justice system in this country, certainly in the state, is essentially Jim Crow. It's the new Jim Crow, as the writer indicated. Because a lot of our kids are being incarcerated in rates that don't justify the significant drop in crime that we've had in this state and in this country over the last several decades.
Are you seeing any progress in the movements towards reforming? Because your group, there are a number of groups that are involved in trying to establish some reform in the criminal justice system. Are you seeing some progress?
Well, sure. Last year, Raise the Age was progress. It's not everything that I wanted. There's some things that I think can be improved on. Expungement of records shouldn't take 10 years, because for 10 years, you can't get a job maybe that you would like because of some sort of minor conviction. But what's happening now is there's a program called Close to Home. And what Close to Home is essentially an alternative to incarceration of these young men and women. They are brought to settings that are more residential-like, that's run by Department of Corrections. They're safe. They provide a lot of the social service necessities that some of these kids need, mental health, education. They are housed home, closer to where their relatives lives. And the empirical data has demonstrated in other programs that use close to home that it's much more successful at decreasing recidivism. These young men and women that go through these types of programs do much better once they get out into the general population. What's occurring now is there seems to be a fight between the governor and the mayor about who's going to fund it. So the governor withheld, I believe.
So the idea is fairly acceptable to a lot of people. The question is who's going to pay the bills for it.
Again, it's a great program, but the governor said, well, I want the city to pay for it. It's $200 million. Without that, I think it's a major detriment, and especially in communities of color where we need some of this stuff, where many of our kids are incarcerated for crimes that are committed in equal numbers as our white counterparts, but it seems to be that the young men and women of color are the ones that get convicted or incarcerated or held without bail. Bail is another issue that we're trying to reform. Right. Very important issue. You know, you see again, not to engage in racial war, but we have to look at the data. The data indicates that if a young black man or Latino man is charged with a minor misdemeanor, and a white young man is charged with the same thing, the likelihood is, because the parents are able to afford bail, the young man, the white young man will go home. The African-American Latino men will wind up in the system.
And there are a number of groups that are working on this bail reform on all aspects.
To get rid of monetary reform.
Let me jump to some other issues. DACA is something that you've been actively involved in. Do you see any prospect of resolution coming out of Washington anytime in the near future?
I don't see one. I think that I believe even as late as last night, there was a bipartisan agreement that even though I don't particularly care for it, you have to compromise to some degree to get somewhere. I want to protect DACA. I want to protect Dreamers. And a compromise that I think is a relatively respectful compromise, but the president's already said that he will veto it. So I don't think you can have
that compromise bill coming out of the Senate suggested a path 10 to 12 years.
10 to 12 years, that's correct.
For legalization.
That's correct.
Exactly.
It's some money for border protection. Things that should be palatable to both sides as a compromise. Yet the president is catering to that xenophobic 20-30% support that he has, playing to his audience, to the detriment of people. He's using DACA and Dreamers as essentially ping pong balls to go back and forth. You offer me this, then I'm going to...
Right, I'll give you this if you give me that.
But you give me that, but then I don't want this.
Unfortunately what we see an awful lot of in Washington.
Yes.
There is a lot for us to talk about, and you're always kind enough to come visit us. My hope is as we move forward with some of these, we'll get you back in here.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can continue.
Hopefully we can talk about Puerto Rico, too, because that's important.
Absolutely. There's a lot to talk about. Again, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Look forward to talking soon.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be here with you.